Hello, beautiful people. I'm Brianna Ajane, and I'm back with another video. I just want to presence some silence. I have really been enjoying silence a lot more. Trying to, at least, when I have the moments to have silence because I have a baby. But just the beauty of silence is truly underrated. I feel like silence is not appreciated enough. And there are even moments where I find myself trying to avoid or get out of silence. Anyways, the little gem drop there. So what I want to talk about in this video, I went on, I don't even know what to call them at this point. Well, this one, sometimes I just don't feel like creating content. Like I don't feel inspired to, so I don't force myself. But this hiatus was intentional. I started getting the messages of start taking the time to do something that makes you happy, do something that you like or love, putting more time and intention into that. And I began to do that, and that entailed going swimming. So I started going swimming a lot more, mostly at night, and I would just like float and just allow myself to just be in like the presence of whatever sound was there and just basking in it and staring at the sky, appreciating the sky, Father Sky and Mother Earth, and being with the moon, serenading the moon, being with myself, having time for myself. Yeah, I just started doing that and it felt good. And then I was also in the middle of moving, so that was a lot and stressful, but made it through, fully moved. So why I brought up the moving? While I was moving, I have a daughter and she's wild, so when you're moving and then you're trying to keep her in one spot, it doesn't work. So she ended up running, while we were moving, she ended up running off to the pool. She likes to sit by the pool, like be in the pool area and like run around the pool. And so she ended up running over to the pool from where we were moving from, and I was like irritated because I was tired, I was hot. She wasn't listening. She wanted to go a bunch of places and walk, and I just wanted to go and sit down. And but she ran over there, and so as I'm holding her hand and walking her back, out of nowhere, like I just had this feeling to look back, and I looked back at the pool, and just like out of the water emerged this bird, and just like large wings, and just flew up and landed on the gate that surrounds the pool. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? Like that thing just looked like it just appeared out of nowhere. And at first I got scared because I was like, okay, dang, like, I hope it's not trying to protect any eggs, or it doesn't try to attack me or try to attack my baby. So, I kind of like put my guard up, but it didn't do anything, but it was looking at us. Like everywhere we walked after it emerged, it was following us with its eyes. And so I was like, wow, okay, this is powerful. I didn't think nothing of it. I did take a picture of it, and so I was like, okay, like this is cool. And I was like happy, and it brought my spirits up a little bit. I even went to my husband and was like, I seen a heron. He's just like, okay. I'm just like, whatever, you don't get it. But yeah, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so then after I was swimming, so it had been maybe a couple of days, maybe a week. And I think it was a full moon or a new moon. I think it was a full moon, or a little bit before a full moon. Timeline's kind of warped. That doesn't really matter. I went swimming again, and I was floating and just like staring at the sky. And out of nowhere, I just heard like, get up and look, like sit up and look. And so I sat up, and as I got about from laying back in the water, I got up and I looked up, and as soon as I looked up, met eyes, and it was the heron. It was the bird, and it was the same one, and I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. I got scared again because I was like, okay, like I hope it doesn't, like, is it trying to get in the water? Is it whatever? But it literally was just watching me and just looking at me, like, and I was just like, whoa, like, okay, this means something. This is powerful. Like I was meant to hear like a message from this bird. And so that's when I started, trying to connect and listening for the message from the bird, because it was clearly trying to tell me something. And so then I ended up pulling some cards and listening, and the message was to disconnect and like really look at what is there. Really bring to light all the truths that are existing, and highlighting behaviors, addictive behaviors that I have been having that are not beneficial and that are interrupting the flow of my connection to spirit, and how I need to take this time to disconnect so that I can go in deep and really connect with spirit personally. And just like I had to let everybody go, stop talking to people, stop interacting, and really like dive in and really be with spirit. That was the message. Now it was another thing of doing it. So I deleted Instagram, I deleted Facebook. Those were my biggest things, Instagram and Facebook. I feel like I'm trying to talk around the truth and make this palpable story, but that's just not me, and I'm just gonna be real and honest. I was really addicted to like scrolling and being on Instagram too much. And it's not that I was consuming bad content. It was, spiritual content and things, messages, and people sharing their voices and sharing their stories and all the things like that, connecting in that way. But it was just too much. It was overstimulation. And then I was also, trying to work on doing my thing of creating my content too, and being on there for that. And some at moments where I could have been connecting or putting more into my practice of devoting time to myself or devoting time to spirit, it was all being consumed with scrolling and tarot readings and just looking at random things. Because like I have Facebook, but I don't really do anything on Facebook other than just scroll. So I'll just be watching random things and I was like just wasting my time. And not to say that that is a bad thing. Like sometimes those times are needed, but it in those moments I was meant to be connecting, and I was using that time to just be in my phone screen. And when I'm not in my phone screen, I'm being a mom, I'm being a wife, I'm taking care of the house, I'm cooking, cleaning, I'm making sure everybody's good here. And then, like, then the time where I'm supposed to give to myself and the time where I'm supposed to give to spirit, I'm just like overlooking that. And I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And that message was clearly stated, and like, you need to let go of everything. And so I had to let go of everything and stop scrolling, stop being in everything, and really sit with myself. And there was a lot of truths that came up with doing that, of course. So first, the major one being that, taking more time to connect with spirit. And I didn't even, like, I subtly realized it, subtly. I realized it a little bit, but I wasn't paying enough attention because my attention was so drawn elsewhere. Was that, like, I had been channeling and receiving messages from the divine, and like my connection was stimulated and it was healthy and it was like growing and progressing, and I was like receiving, and then out of nowhere it started like thinning out. And I didn't realize that it was thinning out, and I didn't realize that I wasn't connecting as deeply. And that I would receive things here and there, but it wasn't like a effortless flow that I had activated prior. And so I began to realize, like, okay, whoa, when did this happen? When did I disconnect so like abruptly in that way? And whew, did spirit tell me what it was? So actually, prior to moving, well, regardless, it has been a while after having a kid, and then being in a new city. I didn't really know people, and I didn't really know spiritual people, and so I had finally found a community of spiritual people to connect with and everything, and it was amazing. And I got wrapped up in this feeling of like, wow, there are people who, believe in the same, not really believe in the same thing, but like they're fostering their connection to spirit. And to be around that was like really great. And it was a new feeling. And it was like, okay, yeah, like I immediately like engulfed myself in it. And not to say that it was bad, that was a bad thing to do, but for me, it wasn't the right thing. And I began to go so much, and like I was feeling bad, but I thought that I was feeling bad because like I was taking time for myself to go, and I wasn't being like, there were certain days where I wasn't as present as a parent or as a wife, and I thought I was feeling bad about that. And I kind of was in that way, but what really was happening was I was engulfing myself in an environment that was not stimulating me and reciprocating with me in the way that I needed. And I hadn't even realized that. And I feel like when you're in your spiritual community, it should be not that you're constantly evolving, but there should be an energy of up leveling, evolution, pushing forward, pushing like past certain things. And the community was great and amazing, and I'm not in no way bashing that community. It was just very much giving energy of like stagnancy and like a lack of depth. And I began to realize like surface level is not good enough for me. And it was very much surface level. And I'm like, Spirit was really highlighting like, you're a deep person. You're really a deep person, and you really have to accept that. And I was just like, yeah, like I am deep, and I go deep, and I very much enjoy deep conversation and getting down to the depth of something to reveal the truth of it. That excites me. Like when I have conversations with people, sometimes it triggers them because like I want to have the nitty gritty, dirty conversations where it's like, okay, we're digging up your trauma and talking about it in this conversation. Like it's like we're talking about making some food. It's like really going in on that and like having introspection and bringing up intelligence and bringing up lessons that you've learned. Like just all that. That stimulates me, and that was not present. And there were moments where I was there and I began to feel like a deep sadness within, and I didn't understand why. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm just tired because it's hella hot and you're always sweating because you're dancing. But the sadness was that I was not feeling the depth that I needed and that I craved, and the depth that I was giving when I showed up. That wasn't being reciprocated, and it was depleting me. And I began to navigate in this space of obligation, obligated to provide the depth to this space that is lacking it. And it was depleting me. And I didn't know, and I wasn't aware because I was just so overjoyed to be around people who know the same language, who are into spirituality, who I can have some conversations with. They just know what I'm talking about, and to also just be connecting with people in general, who are genuine and nice and have a warm heart. Like a lot of them had a really warm heart, and the love and hugs that I experienced from that place were truly like great, really great, and really healing. But the few don't take, the few don't, what is the right word to use? The few don't make up the whole. And the whole was seriously lacking and stagnant. And I was subjecting myself to that constantly, weekly, every week, just going. And on the other side of it, I was enjoying it because I was moving through a lot of energy in myself. I was dancing through a lot of shit. Like a lot of stuff was coming up, and I was like dancing with it, integrating it. Like there was a lot of other pluses that happened. But yeah, the lack of depth in that space was depleting me because my spirit began to try to make up for the lack of depth and create that depth that I was seeking to try to get it in return. But it was just like, okay, no, that's not. We've been there, done that, and that's not our vibe anymore. That's not what we are doing. Our new foundation is built different, and when we recognize the red flags, we take the red flags and we move on. And so I haven't been back, and I was at one point I was sad because it was just like to have to disconnect from a community, and it's just like, dang, I just now found these people, and there are some people that I really connected with and I felt connection with, and it was just like, dang, like, spirit, why do I have to give this up? And I began to like kind of fight it, like, why can't I go? Why can't I? But it's just like, I knew the answers. I was just more so sad that I had to let it go, and that I wouldn't have connection anymore, and that I would be back alone by myself as I've been prior. And it's like, dang. But I came to terms, I accepted it. And it's not like I can't go back, but I can't go back to the and be involved in the degree that I was. It has to truly be intentional, and it has to truly be like I feel called to it, to go back. And there's only a specific one that I would go back to, and I know which one it is, but I won't go into all that. So yeah. So then after having that realization, I realized that there have been moments and things and situations that have been popping up in my life that have been calling forth the new me, that have been calling forth it's like a scenario and situation that I have encountered before. It presented itself, and it presented itself for me to respond to it in the new way, from the healed way, from the way that I changed, and from the way of being embodied in love. And some situations I didn't handle right, and there was like some guilt and shame around that. Being around someone and you don't feel like you're being heard, like they're not listening to what you're saying, but you want to be nice, so you just deal with it. But it's like you get other things out of it, but you deal with it because you don't want to be mean. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Yeah, I didn't handle that situation greatly. Someone calling me out, making me feel separate, making me feel pretty much someone projecting their trauma onto me. And I broke down kind of, but I knew it was for a reason, but I just felt like I didn't handle that from the new healed place. And then I actually just experienced something where in the past I would experience people in a way of them ignoring me when I'm trying to connect and getting stood up by someone that kind of triggered that wound a little bit. But I feel like that one I'm still working through, but I feel like I've been good, and I've been approaching it from the space of love, that I have been cultivating. But yeah, it was truly like I felt like I went through a test of integration, a test of real world integration of all the lessons and things that I have been working on in my own space with myself for these years that I've been alone, and in my own energy and just in my family's energy. Um, can I say I failed? I wouldn't say I failed, because I feel like I learned new things, and then I also felt like it ignited a certain confidence, but also a certain awareness in me to be more perceptive, um, and to begin to move more in alignment with truth, my truth, and how I want to exist, and how I want my physical reality to reflect certain things. So yeah, we're learning, we're growing. That's what we're doing over here. That's what I love to do. Um, I also was really like cultivating my connection with spirit. So I was getting outside more, getting into nature, really connecting with Mother Earth, and really finding the place of peace and stillness within me, finding the place of joy. That also brought up me realizing, like, when did I stop having fun? When did fun become something that I can no longer access? When did fun become like the back burner? It's like, okay, you can't engage in this. Like, this isn't something that you have time for anymore. I realized that. So it's like, okay, I need to do into that. I just want to exist in truth, pure, raw, honest truth. Like, that's just where I want to reside. And that is the steps that I'm going to, like, that is the steps I'm taking to go towards, is to just be living my life in full, raw, vulnerable truth, not clouded with anything else. So I hope this helps someone. Please subscribe if you want to hear more content. Like this video if you can relate or you learn something. Share it with someone else if you feel like this will help them. That would be greatly appreciated. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for spending time with me and listening. I'm really appreciating more how much I enjoy being heard, because of how much I was ignored when I was younger, and how much the people that surrounded me didn't listen to me. Whew. Anyways, okay. Thank you.